Uh, we were discussing the introduction part, the unit 1 for the Python for engineers. We have covered, I hope you remember, the first three topics have been covered: absolute basics, the comparison between compilation interpretation with examples, and a brief history, a development history of Python. Okay, it was Guido Rossum who initiated uh, the knowledge, the idea of Python, developed Python, and later several hundreds of people, technical people, non-technical people, okay, experts have contributed to the growth of Python. Right? Okay. And today's session, our agenda is to discuss the next three topics, Python 2 versus Python 3, and the other variations of Python. Okay, Python is not just one language. We have other variations also. We'll be discussing it as C Python, Cython, Jython, and other, etc. Right. So with this cover of all the 6 topics, we'll be having the completion of chapter number 1, Introduction to Python Essentials. Fine. Now moving on to the next topic is Python 2 and Python 3. There are two main kinds called Python 2 and Python 3. Python 2, in fact, is an older version of the original Python. Okay, Python 2 is an older version of the original Python. Its development has been intentionally stalled to make way for the newer version of Python, that is the 3. Right? These two variations of Python, 2 and 3, are not compatible with each other. Okay, which means Python 2 scripts won't run in Python 3 environment and vice versa. So latest recently the current version is Python 3.9.6, the current version of the language. So that was the reason I have shared 2 links yesterday in our group. I don't know how many of you have visited those websites, www.python.com/org/downloads. So Python has evolved since the 3 has been released. The latest version is Python 3.9.6, the current version of the language. Okay, fine. As I said, these two versions, the older one, 2 and 3, are not compatible with each other. Python 2 scripts, little applications are still used, but they will not be supported in the latest platform 3. So both are not compatible with each other. Okay, so either applications will not be supported in either environment. Fine. So Python with the version 3.9.6 is going through its evolution path and creating its own standards and programming habits. Okay, so maybe after 6 months or 1 year, we could see the next version, okay, 3.9.7 or 4 to be evolved in future. So it's going through its own evaluation path, creating its own standards and programming practices. Right? There is more than one Python. As I said, variations of Python are there. The first one is C Python, and the other one is Cython. Okay. C Python, it's a programming implementation with Python. Guido van Rossum used the C programming language to implement the very first version of his development. And this decision is still in force. Very few applications are used. This is oftenly referred as C Python. Okay, with the Python language, the older version 2, which is implemented with the help of C programming. So the Python 2 version with the implementation of C implementation is called C Python. Fine. And we have another member of Python family is Cython. Okay, so Cython is one of a possible number of solutions to the most Python earlier development, but this lack of efficiency, which means the large and complex mathematical calculations may not be easily coded in Python. Okay, which is similar to the C language. Okay, and it is extremely difficult to develop a mathematical kind of applications, and the code execution is a time-consuming one. Okay, and both are not being used now. Okay, so by looking at these pictures, hope you should not have snakes and pythons in your brain. Okay. Fine. And the other variations, another version of Python was called Zython, Jython. JS is for Java. Okay, Java implementation with the Python programming. So imagine a program, Python program written in Java platform instead of C. This may be useful when the object-oriented application concepts are applied. If you develop a large and complex systems written with the help of structures, methods, models, okay, and other object-oriented programming concepts like abstraction, polymorphism, encapsulation, then this Python could be was the solution in the earlier stage, right? And we have a next version is PyPy. It's a Python inside within a Python pod. It's like a rebus. It can solve inside the features of Python language. And the Python PyPy logo is also presented here. A Python inside a script or snippet which is written inside the Python platform. So this PyPy represents a Python environment written and another Python like language, okay, which is also called as RPython. Okay, so this RPython is a subset of Python. So we have a number of variations, as I discussed: CPython, Cython, Zython, PyPy, RPy. Right? Okay, those were used earlier part too. As I said, it's an open source language, platform independent, and any experts can contribute to the development. So if we are good with the basics and fundamentals, so we can also contribute. I can develop new libraries and could be added as a feature of Python. So like that, all these variations have been used. It is not required. Okay, so to implement all those variations, okay, this is an example how Python has evolved from its basic level to the current level. Right. So I hope you have understood the different variations of Python language. Fine. Now, how to install Python on Windows with the PyCharm IDE? Okay. Hope you have, if you have visited the website which I have shared in the Google, our group. To download and install Python, one can visit the official website, www.python.org/downloads. So we could find the latest version of the Python 3.9.6, 3.9.6. Okay, so the first time user, you can click the link, okay, the table, we'll get the supporting file. So clicking that, it will have its own process of installation. The first time users, it will be as 3.9.6, you can install now and select the supporting files. Install launcher for all users and add Python 3.9 to path, which will be done automatically. If we select those option checkboxes, we need not to set the path every time. Otherwise, it will be asked, will be prompted. A message will appear in the window to add a path. So to avoid that, so one click that will be done automatically. Either we could install the complete 3.9.6, or we have also the provision to install only the selected files, selected features of Python. Right? And following that, by selecting that, we have the things. Just I'll open the Python. Yes. I hope my screen is visible. I have opened. Already installed the 3.9.6. Right. So there are several ways to get our own copy of Python 3.9.6. Depend on the operating system we use. If you are Linux users, most probably you have Python already installed, pre-installed. So that is the most likely scenario, as Python's infrastructure is intensively used by many Linux OS components. If Python is not, for the Windows users, then or non-Linux users, then as I said, you have to visit the website, download, and ensure that it is installed. So once it is done, the screen says the setup was successful and you'll be asked to close later. Now, having the Python 3.9.6, the latest installed, now it is time to check and make the very first use of it. So it is been installed. I have done it successfully. And I have opened the Python shell. It is called IDLE shell 3.9.6. Can you see my screen? Is the IDLE shell 3.9.6 is visible to you all? Can you please respond in the chat window? Okay, fine. Yes, sir. Right. I'll just minimize it for the comfortability, right? So this is called a Python shell interpreter, or otherwise called as Python console. So Python shell interpreter or Python console. So, okay, as I said, Python is an interpreter language, which means it executes the code directly, line by line. And Python provides a shell as it is projected in the screen. It's called an interactive shell, which is used to execute a single Python command. Please note, you can see the prompt appears blinking after two greater than symbol. This Python shell is used to execute a single Python command and gets the result. Okay, for example, print. Okay, just I'm typing a simple statement. So we need to type as per the language print hi. Okay, have you noticed the statement, the string H and I, the two characters are printed. Print H I. Since H and I is a string, they are enclosed in between a pair of parentheses, double quotes. Print hi, and the result is displayed. So Python interpreter, shell interpreter, or console. We can use either way. Okay, either Python console or Python shell or Python shell interpreter. So it executes a single Python command and get the result immediately. So Python shell waits for the input command from the user. When we type with the keyword, the proper instruction, okay, as soon as we type enter, it executes and displays the result. Right. So this Python shell, once it is installed, it will be available in the Windows. Select the Windows start, and as you may notice, if it is done the recently, you could find the Python 3.9, or check the folder. Okay, you can navigate the cursor and bring Python 3.9. Okay, and select you will get it. So right click and you can make it pin to start, or you can bring it to the taskbar. So that will appear in the this Python exe. This one click, you will get it. It can bring it to the taskbar. As you may notice, the earlier version, as I have been teaching Python for third time. So earlier it was Python 8, and year after year we get the new version of Python as it is. I hope it is visible. Python 3.9 new it is displayed. So we will get an alert periodically, and we'll update. Okay, so it will be good to have the updations. So is working with the latest version will have a better understanding and enhances our knowledge in the programming part. Okay, and could you, I hope you are noticed that when you open in the command prompt, as you see, a Python prompt comprising of three greater than symbols appears. Now you can enter a single statement at after the greater than symbol. Okay, so we get the result, right? So another example, let us see for 3.2, right? It 3.2, it gives 5, right? So we have added two numbers and the result is displayed. And pressing the enter, we get the result in the next line. Okay, so imagine to add two numbers in C, C++, or Java. So what you are expected to do? To add two numbers in the earlier programming languages like C, C++, Java, or any other programming language, what are the steps we have to do? Yes? Yeah. Yeah, first we have to initialize the variables a comma b. I mean, declare two variables along with the data type, initialize, accept input, right? Print scanf a comma b, then print, apply the operations c is equal to a plus b, and then display the output. So we need to declare the variables, provide the input, manipulate c is equal to a plus b, and then print the output statement. So yes, inside the main function, we have to do all those steps. Okay, so it is very simple. Could you notice? Just we had the interpreter. There is no initialization, there is no declaration, there are no manipulation statements. All we typed is simple like a calculator. Open a calculator and type two numbers. We get the output. It is simple as like this. So Python shell executes a single statement. It supports only single statement. Please know Python interpreter. This shell will execute a single statement. But programs or application are not single statement, right? Okay, so it will the most advanced scientific applications, medical applications will have several thousands and millions of code, right? Several thousands and millions of code. So, as we had seen in the introduction part, Python supports internet applications, online applications, advanced scientific applications. Then how is it possible? But Python shell supports only one statement. We cannot have more than one. And how we can do it? So to execute multiple statements, Python, the IDLE, as you may have noticed, IDLE. This IDLE stands for Integrated Development and Learning Environment. Let me type it, Integrated LOP, Integrated Development and Learning Okay. So the IDLE is an abbreviation of Integrated Development and Learning Environment. So to execute multiple statements, we can extend the IDLE. The Python installer for Windows contains IDLE module by default. Okay, so to support to develop an application, a program which has more than one statement, we have the IDLE extension. Okay, how to do? Select file and open a new file. Could you see the control N? We have an editor. So for that purpose only, I have minimized the window. Right? Do you see? A new editor, a new window is open. We say it is an editor. Could you see? I am moving the editor. Is it visible to you all? How it is taken? Okay, select file and open a new. Right? So hope you understood the shell. The console will support only single line instructions. Okay, so applications where more than one step, more than one in number could be done by having a separate editor. That's called IDLE, Integrated Development and Learning Environment. So here we can have a number of statements. Print. Welcome to Python programming. Right? Print. Good morning to one and all. Right? So here we have, just I am taking a simple example. Okay. Now we had printed, entered two statements. Right? This could be, we can run that. Before run, if you want to run the model, either we can go through the menu, select run module, or if you are good in Python programming, we can directly press the shortcut key F5. F5. Okay. Before it is executed, we will get a confirmation message. It must be saved because it is opened with untitled. So any editor before it is executed will be saved, should be saved. The source must be saved. Press OK. And when we select OK, so this file, this is called editor source file, will be stored automatically in the Python folder. Could you notice Python 3.9? So this is the folder where the exe I have installed. So all this folder contains all the supportive files, DLLs, include libraries, scripts, tools. Okay, so by default, this editor with the file will be stored in the Python source folder. So we need not to search it. The reason is I had explained before, no? When we install, it asks the path. So we have selected the checkbox. So hence, all our files will be by default will be stored in the Python source folder. Right? Now enter the file name. Example1. Save. It is saved. Right. So there was an error while executing. There was an error. The reason is print open parenthesis. Good morning is a string, but we have not closed the statement. So that is the reason it is showing error. So while running, if there are no errors, it will be done. If there are errors, it will be highlighted. Yes. Okay. Okay. Now we have the two statements which are entered in the separate editor, okay, are executed without errors, and the output. Could you see the output? Output has been displayed in the which part? In the console. So welcome to Python programming. Good morning. So you can have any number of editors. We can open again file, new file. The second editor is opened. The third editor is open, the fourth editor is open, and we can have any number of editors. But when it is run, when it is executed, the output will be displayed in the console. no matter how many editors. Okay, could you see the output displayed, which is collected from Ganesh, app data, local programs, Python, Python 3.9, example 1.py. This is a path which has been set during at the time of installing the Python 3.9.6 version, right? So this basically the shell supports single line instructions. If we have multiple statements, a big application that could be entered by using an editor, by selecting file, new file, and we can proceed accordingly. So the IDLE provides a full-featured text editor. This is called text editor. It supports a full-featured text editor to create Python scripts that includes features like syntax highlighting, auto-completion, smart indent. So this part is also included as also a debugger with stepping and breakpoint feature. It has all the latest features of the. So multiple statements are entered in the separate editor and the file is saved, okay, with a valid name, and by default it will be stored with the .py extension. So we have entered example, okay, and it will be stored in the Python source folder Python 39 with an extension of .py. Okay, so by pressing F5 or F5 or select menu, okay, by pressing the shortcut key F5, we can have the execution. Result is displayed. Okay. Now, what could be the drawback of this part? See, we had opened the console editor. Editor supports, okay, any number of instructions. We can enter it, right? And the result is displayed. The result is displayed in the console. Now, what will be the problem with having such editors? Any guess? So we can have the third editor that could be also here. The fourth editor, which we have opened, okay, and we can place it in our window. Fine. What is your observations with this part? Yes, what you have understood by having this demonstration? Fine. If it is a simple application program, it will be absolutely easy. There won't be any issues. Large enterprises, right? Public sectors, PSUs, public sector units like BHL, they have many companies, right? There are many branches, offices all over our country, BEL, BHL, NAL. Okay, not only public sectors, private sectors also. So large enterprises having many offices, divisions, departments, sections, warehouses may find it difficult in maintaining because of fear that tracing the earlier editors. Okay, a simple example, admission file, let us take. So there are how many branches in our campus? And each branches, there are first year to fourth year. So when we are opening 10 or 10 editors, 12 editors, 20th editor, and when we keep on increasing, at one point of time, we have a fear of tracing the earlier editors. Have you understood? An enterprise which is very large, big in size, having less than 100 branches, offices, how they will manage? They cannot open 100 editors because after 10 or 15, they have the fear in tracing the past editors, past files. It will be difficult to keep track. Okay, so even though if we minimize, we can have a maximum of 5-6 editors in the screen, isn't it or not? So this is the first console what we have opened, and the second editor, the third editor, the fourth editor. So we can have a maximum of 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, then it will be difficult to trace. So there is a fear in tracing the earlier editors. I hope you have understood. So what could be the solution? What could be the solution? Okay. The answer is IDE. So from the integrated development learning and environment, we are moving to IDE. IDE is an integrated development environment without the L part. So IDLE was a console of Python. Okay, so we have understood having now if we keep on creating several editors, we fear the older editors will be lost. We will be losing the track of the earlier editors. So that could be managed with the solution called IDE. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment without L. It is a software application used by developers for creating the programs. Okay, now what does IDE contain? IDE is a composition of a number of tools, a text editor, a compiler or an interpreter, a debugger and a code profiler, version controller integration VCI, and a number of later supporting utilities, library files, and so on. So all these are integrated, combined to form an IDE, Integrated Development Environment. So now we are moving from IDLE to IDE, Integrated Development Learning Environment have been changed to Integrated Development Environment, right? With the support of Python. Please remember, with the support of Python. Okay, now what are the examples of IDE? There are best Python IDEs and code editors. Okay, so please remember, IDE is not without the Python. It includes Python. Python will be a part of 3.9.6 or the latest version will be a part of this software application IDE. So as per the latest Python community, I'll like to highlight a few examples. So there are a list of IDEs used by the Python community, and the most important, the popular, widely used IDEs are presented here. The number one, PyCharm, is developed by JetBrains. PyCharm is a comprehensive Python-specific integrated development environment. In fact, Python has a free community edition, but a full and exclusive professional edition is also available with a license. PyCharm has compatible with all existing operating systems. Okay, so it has the support of intelligent code editor, and it also allows code inspections, support VCIs, and it has the feature of remote development profiler. It can be also linked with the database tools. Fine. And it also assisted with script languages, JavaScript, TypeScript, HTML, CSS, Node.js, and many more. And an interesting part is PyCharm with Python, okay, can be integrated with scientific tools. Okay. For example, like Matplotlib or NumPy could be integrated with PyCharm. The second editor IDE is Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio, okay, as the name indicates, visual. It is a product of developed by Microsoft. Okay, so almost all the features of PyCharm has been also available in the Visual. Okay, but it is a licensed version. And next we have Sublime Text. So it's a representation of an alphabet S. S stands for Sublime Text. It's a lightweight cross-platform code editor known for being, it is very simple, fast, and easily customizable. Fourth, we have Vim, V-I-M. So we can find more features, more details in vim.org. It is an extensible terminal-based editor and completely free and open source. It is also compatible with Mac, Windows, and Linux operating systems. Then we have an Atom. Okay, it's again another open source text editor known for simple interface and wide customizability. And it has even features of IDE, like more comprehensive with experienced tools. Atom also compatible with Windows, Mac, and Linux. The sixth one, we have Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter is a tool for people who have just started with data science. It is easy to use interactive data science IDE across many programming languages that just not work as an editor, but also as an educational tool or presentation. Jupyter Notebook is a free, open source, and compatible with Windows, Mac, Linux, plus cloud host instances. Okay, they support, yeah, cloud host instances. And next we have PyDev. Okay, PyDev, it's a free and open source developed by Eclipse Foundations. Fine. It's one of the most notable one which is available, helpful for the programming community. It is strongly recommended that users also install Eclipse for several performance issues. Right. Next, we have Spider, yet another free and open source. It is an IDE developed by and for the people in the scientific fields. It is available through Anaconda. Yes. So someone has rightly pointed in the correct time. Yes. Somsekhar Reddy. Yes. Anaconda. Right. Spider is available through Anaconda and compatible with Windows, Mac, and Linux. Okay. Even though it is used for scientific, but Spider allows to run the Python code by cell, by line, or by file. This Spider also used to develop, plot a histogram, time series, and we can make changes in the data frame and NumPy array. Okay, so it is an interactive way to trace each step of Python code execution. So, right. Okay, so having understood the different code editors, now we have to find which will be the best as far as our concerns, for education purpose. Okay. Each editor, each IDE has its own advantages. Of course, we could find a lot number of advantages. So most of them are used cloud-based applications, Spider, Jupyter, Anaconda, etc. Okay. And we prefer PyCharm because it's a one-time installation and could use even without the help of a cloud. In case experts, programming analysts working with advanced scientific data, then either Jupyter or Spider with Anaconda could be used. But they require constant internet support, net support. So we have come across many free and open source IDEs. Now, which is the best? Okay, so it is difficult to say because each one has its own unique features, merits, and demerits. So, as a trainer, Cisco networking trainer, and I teach networking courses and Python for the past 5 years. I witness the students with having a knowledge of C, C++, and Java will be comfortable. Okay, who has taught will be having more familiar and easy with the PyCharm editor because it is easy to work, whereas Spider or other Jupyter need to run. They'll suit for research, statistical analysis, and many advanced applications, but they require access through the web browser. Okay, whereas PyCharm is just one-time installation and we can work as like other programming languages like C, C++. So PyCharm does not require a web browser. If there is an updates, then we may use it. So hence, for the purpose of teaching and training, PyCharm seems to be the better option, right? Because it's, as I said, it's a one-time installation, right? And how to install PyCharm? One can visit its official website, jetbrains.com/PyCharm. You will get two options, professional and community. Community is an open, free source that could be downloaded for the purpose of teaching and learning. Okay, so the latest version is a 21.1.3. Now we have got 2021.2 versions. Okay, so 30th June, the version has been released. In the July, we have got 2021.2. So there will be updations periodically that could be done by having the proper alerts. Fine. So once it is downloaded, then it will take the setup process. You will get a welcome message, and by clicking the next option, it will be carried to the part. And by default, this source file exe will be stored in the C drive. And finally, we can select the shortcut JetBrains, the futures. It will be extracted and installation is done. So we'll get a finish option having. So once it is done, the screen will appear in the window, the PyCharm. Okay, having the new project. Fine. Just I'll open the PyCharm thing. Yes. So this is the PyCharm editor. Okay. So community version 2021.1. Okay. 2021.1.3 community edition. Right. So this is the editor. Okay. Now you can compare the Python console with this PyCharm editor. Right. So in this case, you could see the folder which has appeared at the leftmost, a tree kind of hierarchy. So whenever you create a new program, so select a folder, right click, a new Python file that will appear. For example, let us take one. Okay, it is already exists. So let us have some other name. Okay, as you see, there are already one file is the ex.py. I have opened 1.py, right? So we can have any number of files here, right? 2, and select a new one, 3. So I mean to say is we can have all the programs in single editor. Hope you have understood. Okay. The problem here with the Python console is yes. Problem with Python console is different and each editor are different, right? Have you understood it? So the console at the one side and each editors are separate files. Okay. So whereas in this case, we have one editor with all the files integrated here. So just click to check the files and all the files could be traced easily. So ex.py, 1.py, 2.py, 3.py, 4, 5, 6. So all we need to click and check. Files could be easily traced. Whereas the conventional Python console with IDLE having difficulty in tracing the earlier files. Hope you have understood the difference between Python IDLE and PyCharm IDE. Okay, so in the previous case, all the files are differently maintained, managed independently. Here, one editor, one IDE with all the files integrated. Okay, so any number of files can be selected, new Python file, and the next could be 4. That's it. Right? So tracing all the old files, past history will be easier now. In case if your file is found to be no longer demand, not required, just bring the cursor there. Can you notice? Bring the cursor. As you bring the cursor, the color which was earlier have been changed into gray. As I move my cursor to the each program, each file, the color gets changed automatically. It will turn to gray. Okay. If you wish to close the file, end the file, which is not required, all you need to just click. Okay. And you also get a help, close, alt click to close others. See. So now click the cross, it will disappear. 1.py, I don't want the file. I don't want to place in the editor. Just to click the cross symbol, it will disappear. But it appears in the hierarchy. The left part, could you notice the left side? That hierarchy. It's a folder, examples, where all the files are stored. So these are the past history. Okay. By clicking, double click, you will get the files. Okay. By double clicking, each file in the hierarchy will appear again. Okay. If you don't want, just to select cross, that will disappear. So this hierarchy can be extended or could be reduced. As you see the pull down, pull up, we can navigate the files. So all the files are stored in the directory. You can have a new directory in case if you want a file, a directory, a path, it is available. Fine. So this PyCharm is a preferred one and could be used for learning and purpose. Right? Any doubts? Any doubts? Could you see that at the right bottom, Python 3.9? Could you see at the right hand side, bottom of the screen, Python 3.9. So once you install the PyCharm, the source file, the Python 3.9 will be automatically integrated. See, listen, we have a first installed Python 3.9. That's the original thing. And later we have installed editor. PyCharm is an editor tool, IDE. So once the PyCharm is installed, it will search for the source file because it will not work simply. It needs assistance, support from Python 3.9. Okay, so the link, the connectivity, the bridging between Python console and this editor, PyCharm, will be done automatically. You need not to do anything. As a result, it displays Python 3.9. Okay, hope it is visible. At the right bottom of the screen, you may notice Python 3.9, which means all the source necessary exe file, library file have been connected to this editor PyCharm automatically. We need not to do anything. And there are other options, console, okay, terminal. Okay. So we have got, so this editor could be used, this space could be used, that upper compartment can be used to write lines, more than one line. If you like to have only one statement, okay, one statement, if you like to execute one statement, I have extended, it could be stretched, upper compartment and the lower compartment. Could say Python console, click, appears. Again, second time click will disappear. The Python console. This is the original source file connectivity. So here we can, if you like to check single instructions or a simple statements, we can use it. Right? So 3 point. Okay. So 4 plus 5 and 9. The same thing could be also done here. So print 4 plus 5. So run the program. Okay, run 4. We get the output in the lower compartment. A big applications could be entered in the main window. Short instructions, simple applications could be checked single with the help of console. So if you initiate, open the console, click once. If you don't want, again click, that will disappear. Okay, that is the one way. And we have another way through terminal. It's with the command prompt. This is called command prompt. We can also execute the single line instructions in the command prompt. Okay, just to type Python, it is done. Okay, so print 4 plus 5. So we can run, execute one line, single instructions in the command prompt. So there are a number of ways where we can start from the beginning. Python console, the command prompt, or in the main window editor. Fine. It's time now. Let us stop here. Any doubts? We have 5 more minutes. Okay. And so that's about the initial part, because later we'll be working with the PyCharm and Python. So with this, we have come to the end of introduction. In the next class, we start with the print function. Fine.